Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Omniverse of Nick, and Part 7 to the Mcqueen Walking Dead tale. I'm your host, Nick. Before we get into today's episode, be sure, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick channel, and comment your favorite parts, or future requests for what-ifs and general discussion to be said on this channel to see your stuff possibly happen here, and just generally support the channel. With all that out of the way, let's get into the next part of this ongoing tale with Lightning McQueen. Last time we got into it, we were at the bar with Rick, Glenn, Herschel, and McQueen, who saw Dave and Tony go into the bar. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether to let them be dealt with by Rick and everybody else in there, or to help. But while he does know that these people are the farthest thing from friendly, and he knows that he could very well help Rick and everybody else, he doesn't know how these new people will react to him, or if he'll instantly get shot or targeted or something. He could put his friends at risk, especially Rick. So he just opts to do what Rick told him to do: stay completely still and just be a car. But within 5 minutes, he hears shots from inside and to the side of the bar, because Dave and Tony got swiftly dealt with by Rick and company and Herschel, as well as a few of the men outside of the bar whenever McQueen saw them approach. So at this point, with shots being fired and a definite threat among them, McQueen, he's starting to show true fear here, because this would be the real first group that they've had hands-on experience with, because Novato's gang. So whenever more shots start to come his way and an actual fight goes out, McQueen, he's getting scared, and he wants to help, but he doesn't know how, and he doesn't even know if he's been noticed. But he goes to turn a direction in which to run to Rick or to help in some way, when suddenly he jolts a certain way and a missile flies out from his side, creating a decently sized explosion, killing off Randall and all the rest of Randall's group, which were there. So that means nobody gets away, nothing, which really doesn't matter. Now, whenever Rick, Glenn, and Herschel come over to see what just happened, because who could not hear that explosion, even if it wouldn't be that big, Rick now knows for sure that if that was the same incident that happened at the CDC, because obviously, then there's no mistaking that McQueen has something hidden within him. But he's very glad they just possibly got their lives saved by that. But McQueen says they can't worry about it right now, because even if he seemingly got rid of the threat, who knows if more will show up, and they got what they came here for, getting Herschel back. They need to get back to the farm now. Alright, so we pretty much surmised that, like my Madison story, Randall's group is out of the equation. So, yeah, really no big a deal, because they were nothing to begin with. Now, we're going to get on to a trend, which I always do at certain skips in the stories that I make. Survivors. Because we haven't talked about it in a minute, and just to catch people up. We have Dale, Amy, Jim, and Jackie. They have all survived. Now, of course, I've made Dale and Amy survive before, but the two main ones, if you guys hadn't caught on, is Jim and Jackie, with Merle and McQueen being side characters. Now, Carl would still play with the walker, and it would get onto the farm, but with no Randall group, and no threat or tension with Shane and all that, that means that Dale and Andrea would be present on watch, along with McQueen, Merle, and just others in general, and one walker would definitely not be a problem, so no one dies. Meanwhile, Lori has a talk with Rick about what to do next, where they should go, and what should happen, since Sophia has unfortunately been discovered, and they got Herschel back, and everything seems to be okay. Rick thinks on this for a long moment. He honestly doesn't know what to do now. They could always try to go to Fort Benning, but even if they were enemies, those people said that it was a lost cause, and we of course know that. So he decides to make a decision. They will stay here on the farm, fortify, and make sure that they make this their eternal new home, because it can be. But first things first, before they fortify, grab supplies, do all this, that, and the other thing, they need to find out what Mcqueen has hidden in him. Why has he conveniently twice so far been able to shoot out missiles? They never knew of that. And Mcqueen, he overhears this being around, and even though he has been picked and prodded far more than he's ever grown used to at all, he has only grown used to it because of him and Rick's friendship and wanting to become a better car to when he returns to his world. So, he's all down for it, especially since he himself doesn't know about what's happened either, because he was sedated to whatever could have happened to him to make him shoot out missiles. So, he's opened up by everyone in the farm area who is good with tools. We already discussed those specifics. And through all the gears and wires and rods and everything, everyone in the area, even the people who aren't car experts, look all around for something. And Rick, he notices something and tells everyone to pay a really, really close attention to the side of Lightning McQueen, because he saw something. And everyone, they look in for a closer look. And sure enough, they find something astonishing. Now, I want you guys to pay close attention to this. It's not too big of a revelation, but it's still a big one, so pay attention. So, you guys know at the CDC, and just now, McQueen's turned a certain way and a missile's popped out, right? Well, there's a reason for that. You see, at the very side of Lightning McQueen, the front side, not the actual side, but the front side, to his left, is a missile launcher, a hidden, small missile launcher. Because even if Jenner wasn't a gun expert or any kind of weaponry expert, he didn't do that kind of thing, he wasn't that kind of doctor, secretly, with McQueen's design, he was able to convert a small missile launcher with missiles that could do a good amount of damage, but it's not the hugest thing. And Rick, Jenner actually whispered that to him. He didn't whisper, oh, McQueen has a missile launcher, you know. Besides the infected thing, he told Rick that McQueen is much more special than what they all made him. So, Rick didn't know what that meant, but now, he actually says this out front, and he confirms that, yeah, that definitely seems about right. So now, they've got to keep working on McQueen, make this place their new home, and continue on to actually building something at this farm. And with McQueen having this is great! They can utilize this. And with that, the group prepares for a harsh winter to come and a new life at Herschel's farm. But we're going to pause on them for a good minute, especially in the next episode. What we're going to talk about is a poll that I discussed with you guys before I began actually uploading the series. I asked you guys, where should Michonne go? Should she find Shane and both join Negan? Should she find Woodbury alone? Should she encounter the Claimers? Or should she find the farm? Now, if she would have gone with Shane, that would have been basically a canonical hallucination canon event, along with Shane joining Negan in several of my stories. If she found the farm, that'd be like my Madison story. But you guys, I listened to the people, and you guys chose that she should encounter the Claimers. And that's what she is going to do. But that's not all I'm going to do, because I thought of something, a good twist to add on, to converge parts of the pull ideas into one. Not all of them, but two of them. And you'll see what I mean at the end of this episode going on. Now Michonne, she remains on her own. Much better than she did without having to worry about a second person, Andrea. But soon enough, Joe and the Claimers find her, and they introduce themselves in the Claimer way. Michonne attacks Joe first, and Joe, he pulls out a Len line saying that he likes them wings, and he basically says some very, let's just say, not appropriate things to say, because we all knew what they were going to do to Michonne and Cannon and Carl, so we could expect that here. And Michonne senses that it's not good, and she doesn't see anyone else around, but she tells Joe and whoever else might be around, it'd be wise to stand down. And she is not as innocent as she might look just because she's a girl. And just whenever she says this, her 2 pet walkers are taken down by Len. Now, pretty much confirming to Michonne that she's gonna have to kill them. And this is not a problem for her. She draws her blade, and honestly, she puts up a tremendous fight by herself. And the Claimers are left dumbstruck and surprised at this lady's sword abilities. She kills Lou. She kills the Claimer Tony that she did in canon. How ironic is that? And so far, yeah, the Claimers actually have to try against her, very surprisingly. Then Dan is killed, and last but not least, Billy. But 4 Claimers is all she's able to kill. But still, with Michonne by herself, this is very impressive. But even with all this, Harley and Len, even with Michonne's still dark nature and her sword's expertise, Harley and Len are able to get the jump after Michonne kills the 4 of the other Claimers and draw their weapons and fire, crippling Michonne to the ground at the mercy of the Claimers. And Joe walks up to her saying, now, not gonna be so easy. Implying that they're gonna do a lot more than just, kill her. And that was already planned, but now it's gonna be even worse. And we can expect Joe to say this. Michonne fears for her life, actually, and snaps out of that dark trance before Harley is then shot in the head. And who might have done this, you might ask? Well, Michonne's savior is Shane Walsh. After some time on his own, after leaving the group, he has found Michonne facing the Claimers. But since it's obvious that Joe and Len stand no chance against Shane, especially with the help of Michonne, who's not completely crippled, what will happen after they take down the Claimers? Will they work together? Will they kill each other? What will happen with the rest of the story, especially at the farm? But that's where we're going to end things for now, with this very decent cliffhanger. What do you guys think will happen next? How did you like this episode, and what is your favorite part so far? With all that out of the way, please be sure, as always, to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and comment your favorite parts, or just future requests for stories and general discussion for the future of this channel. Because you never know, you might actually see your requests appear and become a reality. And I hope you guys are enjoying this ongoing tale with Mcqueen, especially with the revelations of his missiles. And I will see you guys in the next episode.